This is the supine cross-connect activity with an opposite side reach. The purpose of this activity is to train the hamstrings and a little bit of the glute to control the tilt of the pelvis while introducing some rotation from the rib cage and thorax. So to start in this position, we want a foam roller up against a wall or some sort of hard surface. And what we want is for the ability for this knee, whichever leg is extended, to stay about 90% locked out. So there's a 10% bend in it. The first thing he's gonna do is, Trevor, I want you to push into the wall with the knuckle of your big toe. So the ball of your foot right underneath the big toe is gonna have some contact along with the inner edge of that foot right here. Now, I also want him to feel the outside lateral toe right here. So he's got that tripod sensation within his foot, but he's pushing through the inside edge of his heel and his big toe. So he's gonna push into that wall first, and then he's gonna dig down slightly, and he should feel this bottom side muscle hamstring engage right here. He's gonna pull back with the other leg, and he's going to get to right about here, relatively 90 to about 100 degrees. Now, he should feel no hip flexor pinch. If he does, he can come a little bit further forward, but ideally you want to come back right about here. Now he's going to take his opposite side elbow, that would be his left elbow, and he's going to reach it for his right mid-thigh without his head coming off of the ground. Good. Now, Trevor, I want you to keep a nice open mouth as you sigh the air out. Good. So as he exhales more and more, he's going to feel these same side abs of the leg that is flexed. That's going to be his right abs in this instance right here. He's going to hold that compression in his right abdominals as he inhales through his nose and still stays reaching to that right mid-thigh, and also keeps the points of contact on the wall and digging down onto that foam roller. The most common mistakes we see in this activity would be overly locking out the downside leg. If he does that, he's not going to be able to recruit his hamstring and glute as effectively. So what that's gonna look like, he's gonna dig down way too hard, and then this knee's gonna come back to wherever, but then he's not really going to feel a whole lot of this downside hamstring or glute. And it's gonna be harder for him to sense what he needs to feel with his foot on the wall. So make sure there's about a 10% bend here, and that should allow him to better sense that inner foot contact as well as a slight pull down onto that foam roller right there. The other most common mistake that we see is that they end up reaching too high, which is not going to give us the adequate turn we're looking for through the thorax. We want to reach for that lower mid-thigh right there, because that's going to open up more of our back to expand air into. The other thing that we see is that people, in an attempt to reach really far, is that their head gets cranked off of the ground. This is more likely to kick on their neck, and this is also more likely for them to not get the expansion that we're looking for within the back rib cage, because he's going to be so focused on trying to reach that he's going to overly crunch his abdominals. And we're looking for just the side abs on this side. So keeping the head back, staying relaxed, and a nice long exhale as if he's sighing out that air is what we're going to be looking for here. Something you may feel on this exercise is that hip flexor pinch, no matter how much you bring that leg back. And if that's the case for you, what you can do is take a little bit more elevation here and put it underneath the foam roller up against the wall, set up, and then do that exact same thing. Now you're buying yourself a little bit more hip flexion to bring that leg back, and it should feel a lot nicer as he reaches that other elbow towards the knee. The other option that you have is you can get rid of this elevation, and you can just start up and set in that position there. And you can bring this in between your elbow and that mid-thigh. That way you're not actively having to pull that leg back all the time. You have more of a passive constraint. So go ahead and bring that leg back. You can put this here, and now he should feel more comfortable going through that activity. The final thing we may struggle with is not feeling enough abs on the side of the flexed leg. So if that's the case for you, go ahead and pull that leg back there, Trevor. Good. Most people just don't exhale enough. So just because we're sighing that air out nice and relaxed, that is going to help us rotate that pelvis underneath us with that exhale. But a lot of people don't exhale for long enough. So make sure it's a nice, long 5 to 8 second exhale. It should be very relaxed, but it should also be for an extended duration of time. So go ahead, give me a nice, long exhale there. all that air out. Good, 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 good. Keep going. These ribs will come down slightly. Good, then he's gonna close his mouth and gently inhale through his nose. It should not be a forceful inhale, but it, again, should be a nice, full, about 5-second inhale through the nose.